here we're going to do some shell work. I tend to use epoxy more than wood glue, especially with these old Japanese shells because, well, you know, they're old and I want to make sure they stay together. I use this little epoxy. I use these bamboo skewers because they're pointed on the end. They're easy to get between the plies, and they just work. Overall, they work really well for what I do. You can use something else if you choose, but this is how I spread my shells apart, and I also use it to get down. I know there's going to be some residue on here, but oh well, it'll come off when I sand, because I do sand these down pretty well before I finish them off. Now, getting it down into the cracks is the hard part, especially when it's no more than that. If you have access from the bottom, sometimes you'll get on these, but not going to get any on this particular separation. So we'll get it as much of it down in that separation as we can force down in there. This actually is a really decent 3-ply shell. I know it's mahogany. Looks like there might be a little bit of maple in there, or maybe some birch or poplar. Something in that middle ply that's pretty decent looking wood. So now that I've got that spread where I want it, where's my pliers? There we go. Need to get that pulled out of there. And a little bit more epoxy there where that one came out. And it's starting to set up, so. And then just a clamp. And I'll use a little paper or something. Doesn't matter what on this particular application, because it's just going to be on here for about 30 minutes and we'll go on. But that's basically how easy this is. It's not a huge deal to do, and it really shouldn't be that scary. I know some people are kind of squeamish about doing this part of the job, but you know what? It's really not that hard once you get to it. It's a pretty easy little deal. It's figuring out where the plies are separated and then getting them taken apart. That's the rough part. Once you get that down, though, it's pretty easy. Okay. Now over here, see, I've got down inside. I went inside. I was able to go inside on these so that I have more access to the exterior. And this will give me more room to get in there, that separation. I'll go ahead and get this one down in there. Give me a little bit more. Oh yeah, that opens it up really, really well. We'll get a little bit more going on so you can see a little bit better. Now, it's not going to go way deep in there because this is a pretty heavy epoxy. But you get the idea. As long as I can get it together and to hold together, that's the main part. Don't want that vibration and that buzz coming from the shell. If you can minimize it or get rid of it altogether, anything we can do to help save these old drums, regardless of who made them, we all gain something in the end. And I know this may look like it's not something you want to do to your Ludwig or your Slingerland or your Rogers, but if you got shell separation, you know what? It's the only thing that's going to save it. You just got to get over that squeamish part and do it. Okay, there's that. And we'll just work it down in a little bit. The more I can get down in there, the better we're going to be. And then I got a little bit of loose wrap here, so we'll just take just a tiny little bit, get under there. I don't want to lose this wrap because these are really gorgeous drums. No matter who made them, they're still beautiful. And when I'm done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish out the insides of these drums with clear. I'm going to clear them up, and that'll close that grain on that mahogany. I'm going to sand them down to 220 and put some clear, maybe 2 coats of clear polyurethane in there, and close them up so that they get a little bit better sound. Okay, there's that. A little pressure on this baby doll. And that should get this segment out of the way. Next up, we'll be working on the interior of the shells. What we'll do there is we'll start sanding and get them some of these. I'm going to do something else that's unorthodox. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill all of these where the screws remove the outer ply of mahogany, and it's just mahogany. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a mix of these 2 putties so it kind of matches. Get it in there, let it dry for a while. So I'm going to sand it down and put some clear coat on it. That'll be in the next segment.